Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka the guy who hates himself more than he who remains, and with Loki season 1 now over, I thought we'd look into the time stream to see what could be coming down the line. The Disney Plus Marvel show is the first of its kind to get a second season, and throughout this video we'll be going over everything we know about it so far, as well as some of the things that the new Marvel Studios Assembled special told us about the series. Full spoilers for the ending of the season 2, so I suggest you get pruned before you get ruined if you haven't had a chance to check it out. It is your glorious purpose to like the video, and don't forget to subscribe as we still have a lot more Marvel videos coming down the line. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into everything we know about Loki season 2. Okay, so way before season 2 was announced, in the post-credit scene of episode 6, producer Nate Moore told IndieWire that Loki was planned to be a multiple season arc, and potentially we could be getting far beyond season 2. Clark Gregg, who you will know for playing Agent Colson, let it slip to Variety that Tom Hiddleston was working on far more than the 6 episodes we saw in season 1, and he said the actor was going to be doing in between 10 and 12. His full quote was, "I'd be lying if I didn't say boy, that would really be interesting to start the experiment over. Doing 10 episodes or 12 episodes the way that Tom Hiddleston told me he was doing on Loki, with that kind of budget and that Marvel's cinematic production team." Now whether this is him just getting the episode amount wrong, or just 10 to 12 episodes for season 2, we don't know. However, according to Production Weekly, filming for season 2 will start in January 2022, so potentially Tom could be filming another 6 or 12 more, and this will likely be dropping at the end of 2022 or the start of 2023. Disney have a super fast turnaround on these series, and so far they've managed to wrap everything up in less than a year. Now strangely, it was reported by The Hollywood Reporter that Tom Hiddleston's Loki was expected to appear in the upcoming film Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is actually due to release in March 2022, which would mean that we would see the character appear in that before returning for the second season. Potentially, Strange might save him from the situation we found him in at the end of episode 6, and Loki could explain exactly why the multiverse is falling apart. It must be said though that Disney haven't confirmed this at all. However, Marvel maniacs did notice that Hiddleston had his infamous Loki hairstyle during January of this year, which is when the Doctor Strange sequel was filming. So it is possible that he appears during this movie before returning to the TVA for season 2. Now unfortunately, it still hasn't been cleared up exactly what happened at the end of season 1. There is two trains of thought though at the moment, but I don't think anyone can say for definite exactly what the ending meant. Now the first one is the one that I tend to side with, and that is that Loki travelled into an alternate timeline in which a version of Nathaniel Richards had risen up and taken over the TVA. This is why Mobius didn't know who he was, and why the Timekeepers also didn't exist. Now this is possible because before Sylvie kicked Loki through the Tempad doorway, the timeline fractured off into a branch, and therefore it is possible that he travelled to an alternate universe. Now the other possibility I've seen people say is that Loki has returned to the original TVA, but everyone has had their memories wiped. This would explain why Mobius doesn't know who he is, and as we know, the TVA aren't opposed to wiping people's memories. Just don't make him forget about that jet ski, please. Please, we need that jet ski. Now let me know below exactly what you think is the right one. However, I tend to lean more towards the first one, and I think Mobius just doesn't remember because he's never met the guy before. Now as for the cast of season 2, Disney haven't officially announced who is returning, but we can expect to see Loki, Sylvie, Mobius, Ravonna Renslayer, and of course Hunter B-15. It is likely that Jonathan Majors will be returning too, and we know that he's also due to show up in Ant-Man Quantumania. The film will be releasing worldwide in February 2023, and this does line up a lot with the production schedule of Loki as well. So potentially we could be getting Loki at the end of 2022, and from there it might play out for 6 weeks, which would allow it to finish up before we head into that future film. In an interview with comicbookmovie.com, Jonathan Majors teased at what could be coming, and he said that Kang will very much be in opposition to He Who Remains. Now this not only goes into the idea of Kang going head to head with himself in order to create a multiversal war, but also the character portrayal. Majors has made it very clear that the characterization he brings to Kang will be completely different to how he played He Who Remains, and I absolutely love the ambiguity that's going to be coming with all the different variants. When it comes to Kang and the versions that we meet, you really don't know if he's going to be a good one or a bad one, and it just creates so many possibilities. We could even end up with an Avengers Forever situation in which Kang seemingly was on the side of the Avengers, but he betrayed them, and yet anything is possible with the character. It's like this channel, you might get a good video, you might get a bad one, you don't know, and that's the gamble people take. Now I love that Kang is also so scary that even Kang is scared of Kang, and it just leads to a world of possibilities coming down the line. Now unfortunately, the season 1 director Kate Herron will not be returning to lead the second season. I've seen a lot of people with an anti-woke agenda saying that this is because she was fired or that the show was a flop, but there's no real evidence for that, and looking at what's been said, she stepped down because she had other commitments. In an interview with Elle magazine, Herron said that Sylvie will be getting an even bigger role, and when discussing the next chapter in the character's arc, she teased that it would be about self-healing. She said that we will pick up with her still in the Citadel, and after ripping the time stream apart, she will dig deep into herself in order to tackle why she betrayed Loki and the cost of this action. So lots of things to look forward to coming down the line, and as for season 1, we did learn a lot in the Marvel Studios Assembled special. Now the first big thing they revealed was that Sylvie was indeed based upon Sylvie Lushton. Throughout our videos we theorized that she was an amalgamation of the character from the comics that was combined with a Loki variant. This turned out to be true, and in case you don't know, Sylvie is actually the second version of the Marvel Universe Enchantress, and Loki gave her her powers in order to toy with her. Sylvie was actually given false memories and convinced that she was Asgardian in a sick and twisted game by Loki, so who knows, they might even save that for a twist down the line with the character in other seasons. Personally, I'm at the point now where I think she will just stay a variant, and therefore it'll keep in with the show's theme of learning to love yourself. Now other things we found out were that He Who Remains was so scared of himself that he actually built the fortress of the Citadel in order to protect himself from his other variants. Though he was indeed the last version of Nathaniel Richards, if the TVA were unable to stop a branch from travelling past the Red Line, a Kang variant would rise up, and thus he needed to protect himself with both the fortress and also Alliance. Interestingly, the Citadel too featured in Avengers Forever, and we learned that it was part of Immortus' castle. In the comics, there's a big Immortus vs Kang war throughout the timeline, and this location could be hinting towards that in the upcoming seasons. Majors said that he based the character on people like the Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka, and several great and powerful people that turned into tricksters over time. He also went into the costume design of He Who Remains and said the following: "One of the great things I got to experience with our costume designer is that every piece we decided on was from a different place. The cape I had on was from the Victorian era, the shoes were from Genghis Khan, the pants from Mongolia, etc, etc. You just mix and match it together and it informs the character." Lastly, they said that Kang is bent on destruction, and this is why the ending is still something that gives me goosebumps. We know that when Loki arrived to the TVA, that Hunter B-15 thought Kang was allowing these branches to just leap out, and it is possible that he wants to create the multiversal war, which might be how the show culminates before we head into what I think will be Secret Wars. I do think that the He Who Remains version will be back too, and as he said, allowing Kang to rise up will lead to his reincarnation. This means that if the war gets out of hand, it's inevitable that he too will rise up and streamline the timeline once more, leading to the events to loop around again. It's really fascinating stuff, and just me explaining it for myself is, imagine if you're drunk, yeah, you send loads of drunk texts, the next morning you wake up, you send the apology one saying, look, it wasn't me, yeah, it was my variant, it was Kang. It's something I'm sure we can all relate to in life. And yeah, that's basically the multiversal war playing out before our very eyes. It's all really fascinating stuff, and hopefully this video has filled you in on everything we know so far about the upcoming second season, as well as more things about how much of an idiot I am. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the show and what you want to see in season 2. Comment below and let me know, and just to let you know, we're running a competition right now and giving away 3 MCU box sets on the 30th of July. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on season 2. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of all the Easter eggs in Space Jam. It was absolutely soul destroying, I'm not going to lie to you. It was one of the most difficult videos I've ever made, and it underperformed, so yeah, please go over there and give me some likes. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.